Hello, everyone, and welcome to our weekly live. I am Christine Jesse of Mail Something Pretty, and I have a fun card to show you. I'm going to show you a couple tips, but also a fun fold. I think you'll like it. We're going to use a stamp set called Stay Warm, and it's a reversible stamp set. So I just wanted to point that out to you. I'm just making sure I have everything. Actually, I'm going to make sure as we, if as making sure that the volume and all that stuff's working. I'm just going to look up so I can find it in the catalog. So here we go. Stay warm, page 56. So I could show it to you. All right, there we go. Because there's staples on there. Hi, Cindy. Awesome. Thanks for joining in. Okay, so I'm sorry, let me look up one other one because there's actually three different reversible stamp sets that Stampin' Up sells. Here we go, page 94. Right now, they've had other ones in the past, and I just wanted to show you at least two of them. All right, so let's see. Um, okay, I just want to make sure everything's good. They always change the software that I use, and so then I always have to double check. But of course, I do it like right before we go on live, and I don't give myself time to do it. All right, so hey Kim, let me go to my desk here. Click the right button and let me go straight. All right, so this is a stamp set, like I just showed you, is the Stay Warm. This is the one we're going to use today. I liked it because I used to be a knitter. If you've ever read my story, if you join my mailing list, however long ago, I talk about how I used to be an avid knitter. I used to teach knitting, and I actually made these types of sweaters, all the different colors, the Scandinavian sweaters, and I got a hand injury and I can't knit anymore. And it was really hard to stop, but at the same time that was happening, I was getting into card making. So that was a good thing. So anyways, that's why I like this set because I'm a knitter or past knitter. But here you go. This is it in the holiday catalog, the same stamp set. And it shows kind of like the reverse, right? Because these are reversible. And so I'll go that you can use both sides of the stamp. So that's what I was going to show you. And the other reversible stamp set, this is in the annual catalog. Isn't that just like so cute? Um, it's called Feathered Fun. Um, and the other one, I don't know if it's an online or if it's in here. So it's called Natural Botanicals. Let me just see if it's in here. Oh, it is. Page 98. Here's Oh, you don't see a whole lot of it, but here it is. Um, and the cool thing with this one is, well, the other ones too, but more so with the leaves, you can use it as a shadow, which I think is kind of cool. So you can do the leaves. Um, I don't even think you can see it. There's samples online using that one, but there's no samples here. So anyways, those are the three reversible stamp sets I have. The first one that they created, it was a while ago. It was a mug, so you could use both sides of the mug and hot chocolate, I remember. Okay, so this is what we're going to make. Here we go. Cute little joy cards. I'm gonna use the hat and the mittens, and then it opens up like that. I kind of liked how this has this, it just opens a little bit off center. And actually, I took the example from Nancy, who sometimes watches live and sometimes watches the replay. She sent me this card for the summer, and it was strawberry, National Strawberry Sunday Day on July. So it was a summer card. Had a fun feel. I just really liked how it opened like that. And so that's why I copied it. And that's what we do. We copy what we like. So that's what we're going to make. And I have all my measurements here written on scrap paper, as I always do. And I'll go through them as we go along. All right. And I have solid pieces of paper. So we're going to cut everything from scratch today. So I'm using Night of Navy, Misty Moonlight, and white are my three card colors. And then this little pop-up, you might think it's red, but it's actually Poppy Parade. All right. So the first thing we need to do is cut our card base, which is Misty Moonlight. I'm going to do it exactly the same as this one so that I don't have to think. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna cut it in half like we usually do. I'm not gonna score it first or anything. I'm gonna actually cut it just first at the 5.5. I'll save that for another project. All right, so this is a standard card base, right? 8.5 by 5.5. So we're gonna score it at 2 3/4 and 7. So I need to put up my arm here. So 2 3/4 and 7. So I hope you can see that this is a pretty versatile card, right? So here is the side fold here, and then you open that up. So you can decorate yours however you want. There's many different ways and everything. So I'll just show you this one way, and then you can go crazy. Um, so what I'm going to do is, because it's two separate panels, like there's a panel here and a panel here, I'm actually going to cut that size full and then I'll trim it down. I'll show you what I mean. So the next in here, the next layer down is the white. And I just called that the middle layer. So what I'm going to do is cut it at 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then I'm going to cut 1 1/4 off, and that will be the side part. So actually, I'm just going to cut 5 1/4 first. All right. So then I'm going to cut this at 3 3/4. All right. So I said to cut 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, and that's this piece. And then to cut 1 1/4 off. So here's my 1 1/4 and off. So that way I have the two panels that will go right on top. You could have cut these separate and that's fine, but for the next piece, it actually kind of makes sense to cut them that way first because we're going to emboss. So this one, I'm going to cut to that 5, I think to 5. Top layer, maybe, yep, 3 1/4 to 5. So I'm going to cut 5 first. It's because then I'm left over with a bigger piece to use for something else. So 3 1/4. All right. So I will cut a piece off just like what we did, but I want to emboss it first because now, if you were doing like designer series paper, you could cut it first. I guess, I mean, mine's not smaller than Nancy's. You could cut it first and then cut it down so you have a pattern that works with each other. Or if the pattern doesn't matter, you could just cut scraps. Yeah, her card must be bigger. I thought I measured, but I guess I cut mine different. It just was smaller. It just made me think. Okay. Hi, Joan from rainy, blustery Minnesota. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have rain. I wish you could see out my window. We have a beautiful fall day here today, but that might not make you feel good. But I'm glad you're watching. All right. So this is the Dotted Circles 3D embossing folder. And look, it's huge, right? It's way bigger than my card. And so you have to kind of decide which part of these circles you want to use. Originally, I was actually going to put a circle here, and you'll see it better when I make it again because it kind of aligns with the circle. But the circle sizes I had, because I separated these, they weren't, that navy blue wasn't all one piece. I had cut it. It elongated my circle, so then it looked kind of funny. So then I decided just to stick with a rectangle. I'll hopefully explain that a little bit better. I'll try to cut similar to how I had it. All right, so I'm gonna cut it so that you can see that pretty good. Like that. You can cut however, you can use any embossing folder. That's the one I decided to use. Where's my machine? Here it is. All right. I like polka dots. I like circles. All right, so this is a 3D embossing folder. So I'm just going to use the platform, put that in there, and then I'm going to use my gray plate that is labeled. Someone had commented, I think it was club member, there was something I didn't put 3D on it. She's like, you always put 3D on it. So I need to go through and make sure all my 3D folders have it written on there. All right. And this really does come out 3D. You can even really look how those circles just pop. It's awesome. And they're nice. I mean, yeah, it's great texture. All right, so now I'm going to cut 1 inch off the side. So at least it kind of it goes with each other because we're going to put it, but it will have a border in the middle. All right, so now we have our pieces that will go there, that will go there. We have our card base. Actually, while my cutter's here, I'm just going to cut the white to the inside. And that is just going to be a regular, I thought 5 1/4. Yeah, a regular first layer, 4 by 5 1/4. And that will go on the inside. And I do need to cut one more. Oh, 2 more pieces. Okay. So I'm going to cut this rectangle piece. So that is Nancy, you popped on there. I'm copying your card. I'm going to show you in a second. I don't know if you what point you popped on. All right, so I just called that a focal layer because I didn't really know what else to call it. The under and the top. So the top is the white, the under is the misty moonlight. So the misty moonlight is 2.5 by 3.5. So I'm just gonna cut that down. 2.5 by 3.5. And then the white is just a 1/4 inch smaller. So that'd be 2.25 by 3.25. And I'm gonna save this piece because we'll use that for our hat. Like that. Okay. Might need extra. I have extra weight. Okay. Put these pieces over here. All right. That is all the cutting we need for the cutter anyways. We're done with that. Okay. Straighten that out. There we go. All right, Nancy, I don't know what point you popped on, but you remember you made this for over the summer. This is what I'm copying because I loved the layout. I just liked how it opened up. So that's what we're making. Okay. So might as well, let's just get these glued. Oh, here we go. Get this stuff done and then we'll get into the stamping. Just gonna glue these together. Now, this side is nice and bumpy, which means this side of the polka dots are recessed. So just make sure you have enough glue on the flat areas. So this is way more glue than I normally put on, but I want to make sure that it's not going in the recessed bubbles there and it will stick to my white. Okay, same thing on this guy. It goes like that. I really think this is a great design to use for so many different card purposes. All right. I'm just going to crease my folds here. So fold a little bit better. Oh, I decided. Glad you like it. I do. Of all the cards you send me. Actually, I was going to write you an email, but I'm going to thank you here publicly. Nancy sent me some aspen leaves. I just got them yesterday. They are beautiful. That was really clever of you, and that will be a bookmark of mine, so I'll use it all the time. I have seen aspen leaves in person when my brother lived in Colorado, but we were there, I think, in spring and summer, so I never saw them turn color. So I know like they shimmer, like I've seen the green shimmer, but my mother would always comment when she went out in the fall how beautiful they are. So thank you. That was very sweet. All right, so we're just going to put that in there and hope that my stamping is good because I'm putting the layer in first before I stamp on the inside. Okay. So there we go. So that really is the basis of this. I don't even know what this is called. Nancy, if you happen to know what this fold is called, type it on in there. I don't know. I was just calling it like a side right alignment card, which is I'm not so good at coming up with names. But this is what I was talking about with a circle, because I was going to put a round. I'm just looking to see if I have a cutout circle and I don't. Let's see. We'll use, here's a cover. I was going to put a circle layer there, but what happened was because this circle has that slit in there, it didn't make it fully a circle, it kind of oblonged. So the circle size I was going to use, it looked a little funny, like you could see a little here, a little here. It wasn't really even, and I didn't like that. So then that's why I just stuck with this rectangle. All right, so let's get into our stamping. So we have that's our label piece. I also have a scrap that we're going to use because this is actually, I popped up the hat, but I'm going to show you a couple things with it. Okay, so we need our stamps. So you can even see on this stamp set, it kind of shows the shadow or the reverse or the inside, whatever you think, and then the outline, the details. Just want to see what Nancy wrote. They are gorgeous. The leaves, yes, but almost gone. Oh, sometimes he would always call them Asper tree sets. Really cute. That's cute. It's funny things kids say. All right, so we just want the hat and the gloves. I was making another card that used the socks. That's why I got mixed up. And the cute little mittens. All right, so like I said, it shows you that there's like two stamps, but really when you open it, there's just the one. But they actually showed it grayed out, which is different than other stamp sets. See how it's just white and it has a gray? That's another indicator that it's a reversible stamp, which means we can use both sides. Now you may be able to create some reversible stamps of your own. As you're making things. Sometimes they work, but these were designed that they actually were cut exactly so that they are. So when I made this card first, I actually stamped the light blue color first and then the outline, but I actually find it easier. We're gonna do the outline first. You'll see it's easier to see where we're stamping. So I'm going to do the outline in navy blue. Well, let's see. Cindy says off center gate. Oh, maybe that's what it is. Off center gatefold card. I'm going to write that down. Because look at, I wrote right aligned open card. That makes no sense. Off center. Thank you, Cindy. Gatefold. That makes a whole lot more sense. Okay. So I'm going to stamp these cute little mittens. I'm going to do one here. Even cute without the inside color, but and one here. Oh, that was a little closer to the edge than I wanted, but that's okay. So then I'm going to wash these. Just going to use my chamois. Because we're going to use the other side of the stamp. So I don't want them to, I'm going to actually let them dry a second too, because otherwise they'll shift when they're wet. So then the hat, I'm going to do the same thing. Look at, I've used this so much with the dark stays on ink, it's stained, but it stamps perfect. Actually, before, I'm going to stamp Joy in there just so I have well, no, I'll do the hat first and then we'll center the Joy. I'm just going to move this closer to me though, so I can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. And I'm actually going to stamp another one. There we go, because we're going to use it. And then I'm going to clean this one off. Oh, you guys are awesome. Helping each other out. Helping me out, definitely. Okay. So now I'm going to close this because you know me. I will put my hands in it. Let's just wash this off too. Okay. And now we're going to flip it over. So I'm actually just going to, just don't want to make sure like this is still wet because we're going to have the detailed side stick to our block. Sometimes it doesn't stick as good. There we go. You just want to make sure it's not wet. So now we have the flat side is up. And I'm going to do the same things for our mittens. We're going to reverse them, right? The whole key is they're called reversibles. So we're just flipping those over. I'm in a good press. Okay, so now we are, I'm just going to scrap over here. Oh, actually, I could probably use that. Okay, we're going to use Balmy Blue. Now this Balmy Blue, I'll show you, is a little dark on its own. So see, now I have the back side, but I want it to be lighter. So now, see how it's a little easier, you can line up. Because it's a lighter color, I was having trouble putting the outline on top, but with the outline first, it's better. So now we're going to use the other mitten. We're going to stamp off. And then we'll go right on top. There we go. So now we have some cute little light blued mittens. And then we're going to do the same thing for the hat. We're going to use that same piece. We are going to, for this one, I can actually do it two different ways. I'm going to go right on top, like that. And I'm also going to, I'm just trying to think. I'm going to, nope. What I was going to do is, this whole thing is popped up. No, you know what? I'll do it. I'll just wash another one. Okay. We'll just do it again. Stamp off. And I'm going to, there we go, stamp on that one. Actually, I'm going to stamp one more hat, and then I'll explain what I was thinking about. So I'm washing that off. Dry it up. I'm going to flip that over. I'm going to stamp this again. I'm going to do the outline first. Oop, that's a bad one. Let's do it again. That's much better. I'm going to wash that. Again, I think if there's ink on there and then we flip it over, it will slide on the block, so it won't stick. So I'm just trying to dry it off. So now I'm going to just flip that right over. Stick it on the block. And we're going to use this again. Nope, we're going to actually leave that alone, because I want it to be white. You'll see. So we only needed that half stamped. Okay, sorry. All right. So I'm going to stamp Joy in here too, and that will give a second to dry. Again, this is Poppy Parade. Stamp Joy right in the middle. There we go. That is dry. Okay, so now I need scissors, which are hiding. Here we go. All right. I'm going to stamp. No, I'm going to cut this whole thing out. And then I'm going to show you two different ways of doing this. That's why I was hesitating if I was just going to do one way or two ways. So I'll explain both. I'm going to cut this hat out. And I'm just cutting, I'm leaving a little, oh, I got kind of close on that one. A little white outline. And these are pretty easy to cut out. There's no dies that go with them. All right, so cute little hat. And then this one, which is white, Only I'm going to just cut out the bottom little brim here. And then I'm also going to cut out the white pom-pom of this one. And I'm actually going to get pretty close to the edge of the dark blue line within the hat, but on the outside, I'm going to leave a little white space around that pom-pom. All right, so now I'm going to go back kind of right on the line. And I'll show you why in a sec. All right. So this will go right on top. If I left, oops, if I left a little bit of the white below, you would have white, and I want you to have a light blue hat. So here's where I was thinking. You could either just put this right on top and put that right on top, or pop up the pom pom, and then you have a hat right there. So that would work. Or you could just do it on this one and pop this whole one up. That's why I was hesitating, because you can just do it directly on the piece, or you can have it. So I'm going to do it actually so the whole thing pops a little bit to give a little bit dimension. I wanted you to know you can do either way. So I'm just going to put a little glue on this brim, and it's going to go right on top. And it really does like kind of make it pop, those two colors. I mean, this is, now you have the white, the light blue, and then the white. Because most hats aren't all one color that have a pom-pom. I'm going to use a dimensional. Actually, I'm going to put it on the hat itself. And then I'm going to put that right on top. Hopefully. There we go. And it just elevates the hat a little bit. So now it's a light blue hat, but with a white brim and the white pom-pom. And then this will just be, I'm going to pop this whole thing up. You could do the same thing for the mittens if you wanted them popped up too, but I'm just going to leave those flat. All right, so there is our little label. And then we'll just put that right on here. Oh, what popped into my head, and because I didn't write it down, so I'm just going to say it now before I forget. And I wrote it in my email this morning, but free shipping starts tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week only, for orders of $75 or more. So if you guys have a wish list, now might be the time. All right, so you have a choice. We do have some dimension with the raised dots here, and if you could either put this on with dimensionals, or you could just put it on with glue. So this one I put flat with glue, so you can kind of see how thick, depending on where it's going. Um, this one I'm just going to use dimensionals. But if you're going to use the glue, give a good amount of glue, and because of all these bumps, dimensionals probably would work better on this one because of the bumps, but just give it a good press. And it does stick, because that one I did stick on there. But I'm only going to put it on this one side, because if I did it on both sides, it would close it shut. All right. And then we'll just stamp it on the inside. All right. The polka dots for me remind me of like swirling snow. That's kind of why I thought to use it. Like a little snowstorm, but you have joy. Okay, and so for the inside, I used words from the Snowy Delights stamp set. So we're using, here it is, a winter wish for Snowy Delights. 'Cause we all love Snowy Delights, don't we? Until we don't. We do at the beginning of the season and then we don't. All right. Right, that's what I've done. Yeah. And I'll do it in poppy just for a pop of color. Okay, I did good. And then I'm going to just add some snowflakes that are part of that same set. Some snowflakes there. And I'll do those, where'd they go, in the bashful blue. And I'm just gonna do the full strength because it's just like an outline. They don't need to be lighter. All right, and I brought up, why did I bring up, I had another set in my, oh, because that's where the joy came from. Why did I have that? If you're curious why I got joy came from keeping traditions. All right, so let me close this so I don't put my hand in it. Oops. There we go. A little tutorial on the reversibles. Like I said, the other one, the botanical ones, it'd be kind of cool just to like do the shadow and then off center a leaf. You could kind of make a whole little bouquet or shadows of it. But you can fill in the whole sweater and the whole, you can fill in all of these items with just a solid color, just like that, or you could color it in other means possible. Um, Nancy, who lives in snow country, love the snow until we don't. Just saying, that's right. That's right. All right, so that's what I had for you today. This kind of fun, now that we know what it's called, the off-center gatefold card. Thank you, Cindy. And here we go, is the off-center and the gatefold. That makes perfect sense. Um, all right. Oop, I almost pushed the wrong button again. I keep doing that. So yeah, so that's what I had for you today. Thank you very much. So like I said, the free shipping starts tomorrow, Wednesday. So it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for orders of $75 or more. And there is that joint offer, the best ever or the best ever from where I'm from. Um, join offer. And so that is for the whole month of October. If you join Stampin' Up, you can do it in two different choices. One choice is to pay only $35 and choose up to $125 worth of products as your starter kit. And that you become a everyone who joins Stampin' Up has the title of demonstrator, and what you do with it or don't do with it, that's all up to you. Um, so you can join for, I was saying it's a pack of paper and a stamp pad, it's crazy. So you can do that for the $35, or you could join for $99, which is the regular price. However, if you join for $99, you choose $189 of products. So you're getting, my math, what's $110 of free stuff? That's crazy, crazy good. So both are great offers, and I would love to have you be part of my team. Cindy, who's on today, is part of my team, and Kim is. I'm trying to think if anyone else is on. Or I know a bunch of people watch later. I would love to have you part of my team, and I would be your biggest cheerleader. Okay, so that's what I had for you today. I will be back next week. Trying to think. Um, and then I might be taking a break for a little bit. So I will be here next week, November 4th, which is the following Tuesday, I think. That's why I was hesitating. I will it's actually my anniversary, so I will not be doing a live. And the following Tuesday, and actually the following Tuesday after that, I'm going to be away at Stampin' Up's backstage event, which is a leadership event, which is, I'm excited, and Anne will be with me, and then we're going to be doing a little traveling after. So I will be documenting. You'll see us. We'll do impromptu lives or stuff, but I won't have a regularly scheduled Tuesday live after. Do next week, the following ones, and then I'll get back into it. I think the week of Thanksgiving, so it might be a little hiatus. So anyways, I'll remind you about that. But thank you very much for watching today. And write any comments, any questions. If I can help you out, I'd love to do that. And oh, if you're new to me, I send out 12 weeks of Christmas ideas. So tomorrow is week 4. Crazy. That means it's only 12 minus 4 is 8 weeks till Christmas. Crazy. So if you are not on my mailing list, they only go out through email. So sign up for my mailing list so you'll get them. That will go out tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern time. And to join my list, if you're not on it, just go to my website, mailsomethingpretty.com, and there's a box right there. All you have to do is put in your name and your email, and then you'll be all set. Yes, Cindy, lots of fun weeks coming up. So it's gonna be fun, but then I feel like I'm gonna be thrown back into like craziness because it'll be full-time holiday season. So hopefully I'll have done some planning before then. So I'm working on that now. We'll see how it goes. All right. Thank you very much. I will see you guys next week. Bye bye.